Aloha and welcome back to the channel. I just completed a long-awaited test flight of the whole cockpit moved to a different room in the house. It works great. The troubleshooting I had to do mainly focused on the last bit of troubleshooting I had to do with my throttle, my mixture, and a couple of my gauges. And it had to do with the USB hub itself. There's buttons on the hub, and there's LEDs that indicate if the button is pressed or not. Well, one of the LEDs is actually out, so you don't know if the button is turned on or not. So all my troubleshooting was just because of a bad LED on a USB hub. Up and flying, I just did a quick flight from Groton to Westerly, which is like a 15-minute flight. Everything just went swimmingly. Everything works great. No issues, no concerns. There are some updates coming though. I say that because there are things I'm not happy with, I haven't been happy with. Number one is my brakes. So the main parking brake is actually just a rotary switch that I threw on with a printed handle, and I wanted to make it something more realistic. So this guy here, I found elements of the design on Thingiverse, and then I kind of had to tweak it to make it my own, if you will, just because it didn't work out of the box the right way for me. It also needed a rubber band, and I did not want to use a rubber band because they'll snap, and then you've got to take things apart to swap with the rubber band. So after I did it, I basically messed with the 3D design enough that I could reliably get a spring on there and have it lock in place. And now that guy works. So this will get wired in here shortly. Put him up there. Number two is the annunciator panel. Now, my annunciator panel in Air Manager has just never worked right for me. I don't know what it is. I've tried setting it up and I just can't. So I 3D printed one and wired it up to this Arduino. Now this guy here was inspired by Captain Bob's annunciator panel. The problem is, now I did buy the annunciator panel from Captain Bob, but the problem is I want to put it here while retaining these gauges, and I only have roughly 3/4 of an inch here. Captain Bob's panel is about, or annunciator is about 1 inch deep. Won't work in my setup. However, I used his idea, so to speak, and I built my own version of it. It's much shallower, with a 3D printed front, and I painted it with the exact same paint I used here. So let's see if I can turn this up so you can kind of see the paint matches. So this will sit over here, going right up to the tail number there and up to there. So there'll be a little bit of a ledge visible there, but that's it. And I've already had this working in a test setup, so I think it'll be fine. I think it'll do good things for me. It'll rest right in here, and the wiring will go straight over the monitor in the back there and just kind of dangle down. And I've already had this Arduino programmed, so it should be pretty easy. And the last thing, number 3, is the pedestal. Now this pedestal is kind of in there, it's kind of not. I've never been happy with this pedestal ever since I built it. There's gaps in it. It's just kind of doesn't work exactly how I envisioned it would, and that's 100% my fault. So I 3D printed a version of this. I actually measured it out, 3D printed it in sections, and it's drying in the other room right now. It's all painted. It's going to have a different trim wheel, and I'm going to reuse the fuel selector and fuel cutoff here and the LED dimmer light here in the new panel. I am hoping to get those in here no later than Sunday night. So 3 big changes. I want to get them all done before the weekend's over. But I gotta say, it was fun to be up flying again. It's been a while, it's been months. And to be able to sit in a fully immersive environment and fly again, it was fun. It really was fun. You forget what it's like when you're out of it for a little while, but it truly is a fun experience. Now, one other thing I did learn, this room I moved into is right next to the utility room in my house, which is right next to the furnace in the house. So this room is probably the warmest room in my house. So I am going to have to build in ventilation into the cabin here. So I may end up putting some fans up here. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. I'm actually probably going to look at Cardboard Sim and how he did it, because he's got an overhead area that I think it's got some ventilation in it. He's really creative on his setup. I love his setup. So I'm probably going to watch more of his videos for some inspiration there. But yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, as always, throw them below. Thanks for watching. Again, just a quick status update. I got more on the way though, including an entirely other cockpit, entirely new setup, in another room that's almost ready to fire up. So take care, stay safe, and as always, happy flying out there.